to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis, with my amazing co-host, Rachna. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
You're
How are
good.
you?
That's good. You're good. I'm pretty good. I love it when daylight savings happens because just knowing that it's going to be light out at 6 p.m. Eastern
Yeah,
is it just feels so much better. I feel happier. I feel like I can get more done in my day. It's not doom and gloom. It's optimistic. So I'm in good spirits knowing that we're on the up for daylight hours.
excellent.
That's pretty much it for me. How are you feeling overall about this episode of The Housewives?
I kind of enjoyed this episode. I'm not gonna
You
lie.
did. Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It could be because for me that because I've been watching so much TV and there's been so much going on that maybe this isn't landing, or maybe the fact that I haven't been watching like the other Housewife franchises because I'm saving, the South Salt Lake City reunion for us to
Mhm.
have our little
Yeah,
girls'
next week.
day, and so maybe that's what's happening. But for me, it's not landing this season. I feel like the theme, the storyline is just the same week after week after week. And they showed us the season long preview, and I was like, okay, so there's other things that are going to be happening. Are is it? But up until now, this is episode 7, I believe. Like we are still talking about Louis and Jennifer. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you on that point. I'm catching up on Miami. I'm currently on season. I just finished season 2 of Miami, and that show is a whole different level of entertainment. Um, But I'm also reading Not All Diamonds and Rosé, and I'm currently reading the chapter on New Jersey and how it got started as like a family show. So I think it's interesting to see where it
Mm.
came from to where it is today. And yeah, when you compare it to the other franchises, it's not that interesting, but it's more interesting than it was last week. And they didn't show that
Yes.
damn tweet about Rosé being divorced.
Whoa.
Yeah, which,
Shocker.
that's progress to me.
But even the title of this, I was like, as soon as I saw the title of this episode, I was like, oh, I know
Yeah,
what it's going to be about. It's called Allegation Aggravation. And I'm like, okay, so what allegations going to be talked about? And the only 2 allegations are Louis, and I guess you can consider it to be an allegation, how Jen is interacting with her husband and like the cheating and, what's her name, Margaret getting revenge and using it to ruin Jen's life.
yeah.
So yeah, I guess like it's been 7 episodes for me. I would love just to hear more because it's not making me like any of these women anymore, hearing them over and over again talk about the exact same thing without any sort of resolve. I get it. Like they're all pissed at Jem because she did a shady thing, and Bill or her husband is not willing to say that she was wrong or a shitty person. Like he's standing up for her, whatever. Like they don't like the way that they're handling the situation. But can we find some sort of resolve? Like, like, are you happier knowing that like she's upset and that like you helped make that happen? Like, what I don't understand what they're getting from holding it over her head for so long and bringing it up over and over and over again. What are they getting from this other than a storyline?
Yeah, a storyline, exactly. I feel like that's all that it is.
That's so whack.
Yeah, it
So
is.
whack.
It really is.
I guess also, and I don't feel as though any of the people on this particular franchise, most franchise, but this particular one, since we're talking about it, has a high emotional IQ and like knows how to deal with conflict, deal with, other people. They just don't seem to have the tools.
Not even
And
Heather Dubrow, Chantel?
I was saying, well, this this particular one, since we're talking about it, but nobody
No, I
really
know.
has the tools. Like I feel like everybody's quite basic, and I don't feel like anybody's perspective in the last little bit has been very esteemed. Like, I'm not like, "Oh, what a great oh my goodness." Like, I like, sometimes I watch things
Except
and I'm like,
Louis.
"So
I find Louis impressive.
who gets a Louis?" Louis, I would say, has the most emotional intelligence out of
Yeah.
everybody in the group, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm just kind of like, man, are these people just not smart? Is like Gia the smartest person on this franchise? Like, what's happening?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's what it is they're from Patton, New Jersey. They're not from, some fancy place.
Yes, it's true. So we start this episode off where we left off. It was a to be continued, and we see Bill leaving. He's done. Evan is like, like Evan, he needs to stay sitting down because
Oh,
like
yeah.
he's so annoying.
So annoying.
There's no way that he would have that amount of chutzpah to be calling out Bill like that one on one. Like the
Yeah,
fact that he had like six
exactly.
people there ready to like jump Bill if he need be was the only reason why he had so much bark in his bite. And
Yeah.
like so
Yeah.
Bill leaves and Frank goes and follows him and Bill's just like, no, you're disrespecting my wife. No, I'm not gonna take it. And he just takes off. I love that he drives off in his fancy sports car
Yeah.
though.
But you know what? I kind of liked Frank in that moment because I thought that was like not only the friendly thing to do, but also like the right thing to do,
Yep. Agreed. I even though they're not married, I kind of like Frank and how he handles things the best so far. And it could be because they're not married, maybe.
Yeah. That's
Um,
possible.
but I do enjoy Frank. Tiki's going downhill for me. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, why is he slinging mud when it has absolutely nothing to do with him? I'm just like, Tiki, stay out. Like,
I mean,
be the friend that we want around.
Tracy's looking for that housewife role.
Yep, I guess so. And yeah, I guess it's a paycheck, right? It's a job.
Yeah.
So he's doing the best that he can get his wife a job. So I love that Frank also, when he comes back, he says, all of us, any of us would defend our wives. And that's true.
Yeah,
That is true.
exactly.
Like, even if they're in the
Exactly.
wrong, they would all defend their wives. So it's
And
just
they
kind of
should.
like,
They should.
and you talk about it behind closed doors later about like, okay, I didn't really like how you acted here, but I want to support you in the moment. Do you watch Vanderpump Rules?
No.
Well, there's a couple on Vanderpump Rules who actually, spoiler alert,
Just broke
everybody,
up?
just broke up. So they're married. They've been married together for a long time. I think since the
12
show has been
years.
on.
Yeah, 12
You
years.
saw it. You
I
saw the
saw the
post.
headlines. I saw the headlines.
Well, my point is that Tom, her soon to be ex-husband, would never stand up for her with the other Tom Sandoval, whenever they got into any sort of argument or, Katie wanted to be part of the business, and like has her own family had a restaurant, and so she's like, I really want to be part of like making some of these decisions. I want it to be a success. We put a lien on our house because we wanted to like support this business, and so I would like to have some say into what's going on. And so Tom Sandoval is an egomaniac that didn't want that to happen, so he would always be shutting down any of Katie's ideas and getting into big blowout fights and bringing up things from like years ago with Stassi. Like, he was just, and was super nasty to Katie, and Tom would just sit there, her husband, let it happen. And I was just like, you're just such a simp, like in the way that like it's not making your wife feel good. Like, even if she's in the wrong, she's doing it for the right reasons because you're her husband and she was standing up for you, and then you won't even stand up for your wife in public. It was just so uncomfortable to watch. And it's like they're breaking up now. And so I'm wondering, if that is signs of trouble to come, we'll say, with Jennifer and Bill, because he does not choose to stand up for her in most situations. What do you think about, like, you said they should partners stand up for each other. Like, what do you think about Bill and how he kind of interacts with Jennifer?
Well, I mean, we see them beginning to have conversations this week or today, this episode about, the fracture, the affair and stuff. Like, it wasn't by any means like a full conversation. And I don't think he's doing enough, but I think there's potential there. I mean, I honestly, like, I think walking away from that conversation is the move, because what are you going to do? Just sit there and argue about your wife's worth? Like, I don't know that that's better, like,
Yeah.
you're not going to convince somebody that your wife is a good person. And I think honestly, like, Evan was completely out of line for saying that. Like, whether you like each other or not is one thing, but you're on this show together, you're clearly hanging out. You just don't say that about someone's partner. And so, like, personally, I'm a kind of like, in my conflict in my personal life, I'm like, I often feel like walking away from a battle if I don't feel like it's like I pick my battles, like, some situations are worth fighting for, and some people I'm just like, I don't need to be, I don't need you to know my perspective or see my perspective. I just rather not converse with you, because we don't need to, be in relationship with each other. But for the sake of the show, I feel like Evan shouldn't have said that. And I don't know, like, do you think Bill, what do you think Bill should be doing? Like,
Going to
I think
counseling?
ultimately Bill, in this situation, Bill needs to make it right with Jennifer, and that's between
Yes.
them. It's not between the other men.
Yeah. No, I mean, when I was saying stand up for your wife, I do not think that he should have stand in front of the men and just been like bombarded by attacks about his wife. And
Yeah.
like, I do think in that situation, I'd be like, I don't need to be here for this. I'm out of here. Like, I 100% would have been out of there. I think in general, I think that Bill, I know that Jen, how she handled the situation 10 years ago was just to shut it down, not talk about it. He said that he wasn't planning on staying with that other woman and they were just going to move forward and pretend it never happened. So that's what the agreement that they made 10 years ago. Now that it's being brought to light and things are changing a little bit, I do think I agree with you that Bill needs to make this right. Bill needs to go to counseling or talk about it with somebody that has a better way of dealing with these type of situations, because I don't think either of them know how to handle it appropriately. They did what they thought was the best 10 years ago, and now that solution isn't working in 2022. So I think that they need to talk to somebody that is a professional with dealing with infidelity in marriages if they plan on staying together. I do not think that with what is going on that their marriage will last if they don't get outside help. Personally.
Yeah, I agree.
Hi, JL. Thank you for being here. So JL says, I almost felt bad for Bill. He had stood up for her to the guys, and he left when they talked bad about her. But when he brought it up to her, she attacks him for not defending him. Like, ma'am, he just did. Yes, I did actually. We'll get into that a little bit later, a little bit more. But I was kind of like, Jen, just like, I think you should just say thank you for standing up for me right now, and maybe bring up what, like, that conversation in a different time, because I think he was standing up for her in that moment in the best way that he knew how. And then she basically was like, you don't stand up for me. And he's like, I did just stand up for you.
I mean, I think coming from her perspective, it's probably really hard for her to see that, because
He left
so
and he
hurt.
didn't say anything.
Yeah, and she's so hurt, you know?
So when Frank gets back, that's when they're all saying, I think Frank said it, boys code, we have to leave all the women drama like at home or whatever. And I'm just like, they are very gossipy for not wanting to have women drama. Like, that's all that they do. And Louis shows up and they're all like, get some shots and like fist bumps, and Louis orders a tequila. Did you notice anything about this hospitality scene here?
So many shots.
So many shots. I love a good shot.
She was like, I got you. And like the sneaky, like, reach to put the glass down. I know what that's like. I didn't notice anything else. No, did you?
No, me neither.
Okay.
Didn't do that. They ordered some food, like, in a way that I hate when people order food this way, when they're just like all just yelling out. It's like, is this family style, or like you wanting to have like appetizers first? Like, how are you wanting this? But when people just like, get some tacos, get some this, get some calamari, like, that's not how I like people ordering with me, but I guess they had it figured out
Yeah, I
personally.
agree.
So Teresa calls Louis while she was there. He was there as soon as he arrives, and I do appreciate how much Teresa wants to take care of Louis, wants to make sure that he's okay, doesn't want him to feel that he's saying things that needing to say things that he doesn't need to. So I do appreciate that, but like he's also like a 50-year-old man.
Yeah,
He can handle himself.
he can handle himself, exactly.
So Joe brings up, oh, sorry, they make fun of him for her name being Mi Amor in his phone.
Oh
What do you
yeah.
think of that? Do you have pet names in your phone?
I don't. I do actually, but it didn't start as a pet name.
Okay.
It became a pet name because it was on my phone, to be honest.
That's okay. That's fine.
But so what's wrong with that? Like,
I don't think anything's wrong with this. Like, but I just thought
why
it
is
was
it a problem
funny.
for the men? That's what I don't get. Because he's so expressive of his feelings. He's not ashamed.
I mean, maybe it's because it's Joe and Joe, this is my sister. Ew. Maybe a little bit, but I was
Grow
just
up,
kind of like,
Joe.
Mi Amor, it's not that big of it. It's not like like it's not that
Like,
much.
shouldn't you be happy that your sister is loved by a man who's
Absolutely.
willing to express that?
Exactly. But they all don't really love showing their feelings in that way. The only
Yeah,
feeling that they're comfortable expressing is anger, it seems.
anger.
So
Yeah,
maybe that's the point. Teresa does make sure that she says, like, tell my brother I'm gonna kick his ass. I like it better when they have a normal brother and sister relationship, not when like yeah, I like when they have a normal brother and sister relationship. Just like you're an idiot, like just a little
oh
bit
yeah,
combative. Like I just like normal brother sister stuff. Like I don't like when they get into when they're fighting in a weird way about Melissa and like I don't really
yeah.
like that. I wish that Melissa wait, maybe I missed it. Melissa wasn't married to him because I don't like what her expectations on the brother and sister of it all because she's married to him, you know? Like I
Yeah.
find how what she wants Teresa to do is kind of annoying sometimes, personally.
What does she want Teresa to do? Like stand up for
She
him?
she no, well, it's like she does wants Teresa not to be friends with Jennifer and like
Oh,
then
right.
and
Okay.
like it's just like I just don't I guess I just don't particularly enjoy Melissa's perspective and I
Yes.
like Teresa more than I like Melissa. And so the fact that Melissa's in the family and has a say, it kind of bothers me.
Yeah. So this is actually because I'm reading that book.
Go ahead.
This goes back to even before they were married. This whole Teresa not liking Melissa, Melissa not feeling good enough thing. I mean, I don't know if that's how Melissa feels, but she behaves as though she feels that she's not good enough. Because
That
they've
okay.
been married for so long. If it's a thing, then just like who gives a shit what Teresa says? Like he clearly is loyal to you. It's not like he's putting Teresa ahead of her.
That's
So
true. Maybe that's also another thing. It's like I want people to be confident in their marriages and not
yeah,
like reacting in ways that just shows insecurity and you know obviously people need to have these relaxed reactions so we can comment about them and talk about them and have our own critiques of how people are interacting with their family and spouses and all that stuff. But I guess what it's bothering me and it just keeps on coming up is that it's just not highbrow like perspective. Like it just like I want to see a little bit I just want to see a little bit more. It's
I
just
mean it's the Housewives. It's not HBO,
I
Chandel.
know, I know, I know. I know, I know.
I'm sorry.
I'm
Would a
expecting
highbrow
too much.
perspective be more entertaining?
Say again?
Would a highbrow perspective be more entertaining?
I mean, maybe for me, just because I love like things super intellectual. You know what I mean? Like I love figuring it out or be like, oh my God, that's so smart. Oh, that's a really interesting way to come about it. Or, oh wow, like I understand that dynamic so more. Like these dynamics are just so basic, you know?
I mean, I feel like New Jersey's just not the franchise for you, but
Yeah, it might be. That's very,
yeah.
very well
I
could
mean,
be it.
I don't know that it's a franchise for me either, but I don't think it's because it's not highbrow enough for me.
I'm trying to figure out what it is. It's
No,
just
I know
this is
it.
the
I
first
know.
time that like I've covered any of the Housewives, and
Yeah.
so I'm learning as I go what I'm enjoying or not enjoying about the
Yeah.
franchise. So like I might go back next week and be like, I was wrong. Like this is the best franchise ever. Like who knows?
I doubt
But
it.
I remember though, and I've said this before, that I stopped watching the Housewives because of the Jersey franchise. I couldn't
Yeah.
take it. And so I think that maybe something about the dynamic of this particular franchise, it doesn't resonate with me as something that I want to have a study in. You
Oh,
know?
I agree. I completely agree.
Yeah. Mm. And I guess also I just watched, say, Beverly Hills. Like I just watched that season before I watched Salt Lake City, the new one. And yeah, there was so many times where it was just so ridiculous. But I guess I also know backstory about them in the public. I know, like, you know, Kathy Hilton. I know all about Paris Hilton. I've been watching Lisa Rinna on Days of Our Lives. And so
Yeah.
like I have a little bit of a different perspective of them and seeing them interweaving. I think it also could be a little bit more interesting because I know them separately already as their own entities, and now they're coming together in this franchise. So seeing those
Yeah.
dynamics are maybe a little bit more entertaining.
I mean, I find those franchises more entertaining because
Let's see.
rich people love to pretend like they have all their shit together, but on these shows, they're basically, showing us all their dirty laundry or a lot of
Yes,
their dirty laundry, and I love seeing that shit come apart.
true.
That's why
Agree.
that's why rich people are so much more entertaining to me. It's because you guys are
it's
fucked.
it's
You
not
just
it's
have
not
more
that much
money.
better on that side of the fence kind
Exactly,
of thing.
exactly, yeah. You just think that your money, like, protects you, but then you go on this show and actually just show us what you're like.
Well, I'm curious though. I just saw somebody post that there's going to be a Housewives of Lagos. So I'm
Oh,
like, it's
yes?
like,
Yes?
did you see it?
No, but I
The
wanted
and
to
I'm
talk to you about that. That one is gonna be good.
right. Like I'm just that's something that I can get excited by. You know,
Yeah,
maybe also there's no people of color. Maybe that's something that like I would like to see that
yeah.
dynamic brought into here. I mean, I guess Jennifer is a little bit. I'm not sure. Is she Algerian?
Turkish.
Turkish? Um, so a little bit of ethnic diversity there a bit, but
Well,
maybe that's also
fairly,
something that I'm missing.
fairly, yeah.
But she's
Um,
also, you know, white passing kind of.
yeah, exactly, and she doesn't really talk about. I mean, they did the Turkish breakfast, but she doesn't really, she went to Turkey to do her, like, they talk about, yeah,
Look at
like,
that.
you can tell, first of all, that those women have a lot of money and a lot of style, and
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. I'm so
yeah.
excited for that. Also excited for I think is there gonna be a Housewife of Dubai or is it Abu Dhabi or where
Really?
I believe
I mean,
so.
I've seen like trailers and stuff for Housewives of Dubai. I don't know, like, I grew up in Dubai and I don't know
Oh,
that. Yeah, I lived there till I was 14. I was born in Abu Dhabi and I was raised in
I didn't
Dubai.
know that. How did
Yeah.
I not know
Yeah.
that?
Because I don't talk about it too much because the Dubai that I grew up in was very different to what it is now. Like,
Mm,
I left in 95, and that's kind of when things started to really blow up. Um, so I think when I say I grew up in Dubai, people will get this impression that, like, I grew up with a lot of fabulosity, and I grew up very comfortable and very privileged. I won't deny that, but I didn't grow up with, like, 5 BMWs or anything like that, or I didn't even grow up in a big house. And um and just what it has become is really not something that I relate to or want to know or
mm,
see even, like, I've
mhm.
been back, and it didn't feel good to see all of that. And I mean, I think I don't know, maybe it would be entertaining to watch it, but it's also like so tacky.
That's fun, no? Isn't tacky fun?
I mean,
Gaudy? I love gaudy.
it's not as fun as when like someone like Kathy Hilton, who literally was raised with that kind of wealth, you know, it's like the new money, old money thing. Like I find old money more entertaining because
Fair. They have so many secrets.
new money is like so cringe for me to watch. Do you know what I mean? And I also think that like I do feel like people in Dubai don't know how to
Dress?
appreciate style. You know, like there's
Mhm.
very few people who actually know how to invest their money in art and style and
Mm.
um
It's just like gold and just like really luxurious looking, but like no
yeah,
actual
it's
style. It's just like name brands and
yeah, like
patterns.
it's very easy to go and buy like the latest Louis Vuitton collection or whatever, but do you know how to wear it? No. But you know,
I would
that
love
could
to
just be me.
try.
I mean, I'd watch it. I just don't know if I'd watch more than a couple of episodes. But you know what? I would like to be proven wrong.
Well, I mean, I think that would be really interesting to talk about that season because, especially if you grew up there, so you'd be
Yeah.
able to have really direct correlations of like, oh, this is how it used to be. This is wild that it's like this now. And, I think you'd have a very fascinating perspective. I don't know much about Dubai or Abu Dhabi. I just one of my friends lived there for 3 years because she was an Emirates flight attendant.
Oh, amazing.
That's all that I know, and all of like she's quite a wild person, we'll say. And so, her kind of just trying to stay under the radar and not get in trouble over there. Like that was kind of all I really know about, being living that lifestyle. But I just think it
Yeah.
would be interesting. And they are bringing people from other franchises or other countries there. So
Oh,
it could be
really?
interesting. Yeah,
Like,
I know that somebody from Ladies of London, somebody told me that somebody from Ladies of London will be on The Richest Woman. Are you watching it yet or no?
not yet. No, no, I'm saving it.
There's a super rich woman, I can't remember her name right now, and is going to be on The Housewives of Dubai. So
Like she's relocated to Dubai to be on, and
I
she.
don't know the details, but that's what I
Oh,
heard.
okay. All right.
I would
Well,
imagine so, or
let's
maybe she
keep
has
our
a.
eyes open.
Okay, done. Okay, let's get through this episode. I'm sorry that I'm
Okay.
complaining about the Housewives of New Jersey. I'm
No, don't be.
just watching it. I'm just like,
It's real. What we're feeling and watching it is real.
okay, thank you. I just
Yeah.
I don't want to be poo-pooing it too much, but it's
No, but
just
it's not a good show.
okay.
Yeah,
Thank
it's not.
you.
It is simply not a good. It's not a good season.
Okay. Thank you so much. So, Tiki's asking Louis, like, what can we say about this whole situation? Can I ask you about this? And Louis does mention that his ex, that he's had a few bad past relationships, and then he mentions that his ex stabbed someone with a butcher knife. Was it an ex of hers that she stabbed, like a partner of hers she stabbed with a butcher knife?
He said that she stabbed her ex-husband.
Okay, ex-husband. Wow, that's intense. So what do you think about that? Because everybody now is going to go on about the fact that they're blaming the victim, that Louis blaming the victim now, and not really owning up to the fact that his wrongdoing if he did lay any hands on his ex.
Yeah, I mean, you see several of the women talking to their husbands, and they're all like they figured that out. They're like, oh, he's just trying to discredit her, like the victim, which they're not okay with, which I think is good. Like, you should always believe the women. I believe that. Um, except for Melissa and Joe, because they are scared for Teresa, and maybe they should be.
Right. Oh, yes. Oh, that's what you meant. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So maybe he's deflecting. Yeah, maybe he's deflecting.
Well, he's also said, no, I did not do that. Do you think he's
I
lying?
mean, would you admit it? on
If there was
TV?
no charges pressed, no. Regardless of, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
That's the thing, is like, we don't know. And, I get that, like, maybe this person is coming forward because now he's on TV and he's got this public relationship and she wants to get something out of him, right? And maybe it's not true. We don't know. And the thing is, we're not going to know. We're probably never going to know. And so I believe her. But I also believe that people can heal,
change. Mm.
yeah, and address their stuff. And maybe he's just learned that vocabulary and is really good at putting on that facade of, I'm a changed man, I'm a healed man, I'm like a vulnerable man, and the abuse comes later. God forbid it doesn't,
Oh
touch
my
wood.
God. I could see that, to be honest. I
But
could
like,
see.
we all know men like that. We do. We know them through our communities, we know them in public, like, we know that. And we've seen
I
this play out on, in the headlines before. So I feel like, you know what, it's Teresa's life. Like, she's a grown woman, she can make her decisions.
you know what? Like, I don't want to be pessimistic about this relationship, but I do think that he does treat her really, really well. But I
Yeah.
could very, very easily see that this is part of the grooming process. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that, like, eventually, once she's completely locked in and she's been defending him for, say, a couple of years now, that she would never even let people know, like, that something's changed and that he's a different person. I could
Yeah.
definitely see that. Um, Even though I don't want to admit that I could see that, I wouldn't be surprised if him being too good to be true, he is too good to be
Yeah.
true.
I mean, that's the cycle of abuse, right? We know that. We know that's the cycle of abuse.
I can actually see that.
Yeah.
If
And
I
that's,
really if I really look at it how I would look if I was one of Teresa's best friends, I would be worried for her. It's true.
yeah. Or
I
if it was one of your friends, like in your real life.
Mhm. Oh, I mean, I would be like, "Get out." I would be, "Get out of
Yeah,
this. I don't
exactly.
trust it." I'm like, "I don't trust it. I don't trust it at all." He always has
Yeah,
the exact right thing to say.
exactly.
He's really overly flowery with his words. It's kinda like he knows that he has somebody good and that he can, like, get in and manipulate. I don't wanna say that. I'm sorry that I'm saying this, but, like, I can see that very clearly. Okay, DM Rocks is here. Hello. Are you going to watch Real Wives of Atlanta when it comes back in May? Yes, I'm going to watch. I don't know if I will cover because I haven't watched The Housewives of Atlanta in like 8 years. So I'm also realizing that I think that I need to be up to date more so on a full franchise to really do it justice in a review, because I guess I don't remember 12 years ago when I originally watched this series, like the dynamics and stuff like that. So I just don't know if I would do it justice, but it's on the consideration table. Beverly Hills is also on a consideration table.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we should May 11. Okay. That's actually really good timing for me because I set an exam that week, which means a whole chunk of my life ends, which means I'll have more time. So
Ooh,
maybe we should do a poll with viewers closer to the time to
see which
ask
one
what franchises they want us to
do
recap or
next.
review. Yeah. Because
Yeah, I can do a
I'd
poll.
be down for either of those, even though I haven't watched for years.
Yes. So I think Beverly Hills would be easiest to jump back into just because
Agreed.
you know the people.
Agreed.
Um
And I saw some of last season.
Atlanta, I haven't seen in a little bit. Obviously, I know more so of some of the people. I don't know who's still on the franchise right now. I would be curious. Potomac, I've seen the last few seasons, so I'm kind of up to date with Potomac. but I don't know when that comes back. Okay, what else is people saying? Louis very likely did it. Can't say 100%, of course, but most of the time those stories are not out of nowhere. I know. And maybe it was to a different degree than what she said, but still physical violence. Yikes. I agree.
Exactly.
If I really look at it objectively, from an outsider, like I do agree. And I do also agree that when he said I have to teach her, remember when he says like I'm gonna leave if she keeps on coming, if she keeps on speaking over me, I'm gonna leave, and that's gonna be the way to teach her.
Exactly.
And I was just kind of like, so you're
Exactly.
teaching her like she's like a pet, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And like you're gonna punish her, and like, you know, it's kind of like a reward and punishment. You want me to be here, you be good, like, and that type of way of getting your partner to do what you want is actually a little bit indicative of potentially something not being as perfect in the relationship.
Exactly.
Oh gosh. Exactly, Rachna. I feel like he is love bombing Teresa, and he will turn soon. Oh my,
I mean, we saw that on
it's
today's
coming.
episode.
Oh my God, I know we're gonna get to that. I was like, I was
Yeah.
barf. It was so not good. In an interview, Jennifer said she might quit after the season because she had a terrible time filming the season.
I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's
Louis seems like a classic love bomber. He's blinding her with love. Absolutely. Yes, Beverly Hills.
Okay, that's
Right. Like he thinks he can give people lessons.
yeah.
He has extreme control issues that are glaring. Yes. Candy and Kenya are still there. Okay, I like both of them. And there is Cherie, is back this season. 2 newbies. Marlo has a peach this season. What does that mean?
Marlo was a friend. A friend of.
Has a peach. I got you.
Yeah.
So that's, I don't know Marlo. I know obviously the other 3. I definitely saw Kenya on Dancing with the Stars. I'm gonna watch Candy and the Gang.
Candy and the Gang. I just started that actually.
I'm gonna get caught up on that. I think I'm only a week behind. So, maybe we could do both and just like power through both of them. Okay.
Yeah.
Just have them both in the same day, and just like, instead of just like talking really in depthly, just kind of like a little bit quicker, half an hour each show. I'm in. I'm feeling it a little bit. I think I like the people a little bit better than I like these people. But I am intrigued, even though I don't want Teresa to get hurt, by this Louis dynamic. If we're looking at now as like, okay, this is a psychological investigation of a relationship, like that is interesting to me, but I don't want it to be at the detriment to Teresa's well-being, you know?
Yeah. So she was on Watch What Happens Live last night, and I haven't seen it yet, but I wonder if it comes up.
She's just gonna deflect though. She doesn't.
Yeah,
she's not gonna.
And I think the way she deflects is gonna tell a lot, because
if she's ever abused, hurt, or has any red flags, she's never gonna say a thing.
Exactly, but it's how she doesn't say a thing. I think it's telling, you know?
I'm gonna watch this after we chat. I wonder if Watch What Happened Live, I'm gonna try it one time to see whether or not it is copywritten, because that would be kind of fun sometimes, just to watch it together live. And it's like, I'm gonna check that out next time. Okay, so it definitely doesn't really get anywhere with the conversations with Louis. The next morning, all the men are hungover. People are getting aspirin, some water. Evan's going to exercise. Louis threw up twice, so at least we know that they're normal, and like they still get like hangovers. Because like I always wonder with these housewives, like I'm like, you guys drink a lot and you're mixing, you're doing wine and then you're doing shots. Like, do you not get a hangover? And so it's nice to see that, like, yes, they do.
I mean, did somebody say they had 18 shots? Like, I think Evan even was like, I had 18 shots. I'm like, how do you function on 18 shots? Like,
I mean, I've definitely had my share.
18 in one night?
Possibly. When I used to bartend? Possibly. You know, in a full night, like, yeah. Definitely, especially if
Okay.
people like I would always get people to order bottles, and I'd want people to finish their bottles, so I'd just like always be making shots.
Pouring
So
shots. Yeah.
yeah, in like
Fair.
6 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, fair. Okay.
But yeah, it's still a lot. But like I do see that it's possible to have that many drinks. Like for
Yeah.
instance, one night I went out with like some people after doing a Pilates training, and we just thought we are gonna go out for a couple glasses of wine, and we end up each having 10 drinks, and that was just
Wow.
in like 4 hours. I didn't feel great the next day, but like if you had to add a couple more hours and some shots in there, like I could see it happening.
Okay.
But you're not a big drinker, so I
No.
understand how that could be wild for you as
Yeah.
well. So Margaret and Jackie and Melissa, like all separately, are asked talking to their husbands about Louis, and then you see Evan and Jackie talking about Bill. I don't think there's much that we need to say about that we haven't said already, but
Yeah.
we need a new subject.
Yeah, we really do.
I thought that this was I just wrote this down, but Erica, one of Jennifer and Bill's daughters, is still has training wheels on her bicycle. I felt that she was a little bit old for that, because like I feel like I learned how to ride a bike when I was like 4.
Yeah, I feel
And
like
training
also
wheels came out when I was 4.
that bike is also way too small for her. Like,
But maybe they don't make a bigger bike available for training wheels. Maybe.
no, you can get training wheels for any bike, I'm pretty
I
sure.
guess
Like
you can
if
put
you
it
have
on
the
like
money,
this
which they
thing.
do, you can get a training wheel. But yeah, that bike is way too small for her, and that's probably why she was struggling. She needs a bigger bike.
I was just so shocked though, because she seemed like she's about, I don't know, 8, 9, 10. Like she seems old enough to have learned how to ride a bike.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know.
I learned when I was 4 years old. I actually remember the story. I remember I was 4 years old, and I had like a strawberry shortcake bicycle, like with the banana seat. And like I was riding, and my dad was behind me, and he was like, we lived on a hill. And so he was like running behind me, and like he let
Let go.
go, and I was like, I thought he still had his hand on, and I looked back and I saw that he let go, and I was like, ah! Like I went and I crashed into the curb,
Oh
and
no.
I bumped my lip, and I had a huge bloody lip, and it's healed now, but I used to have a really big bulb on my lip for like many years of like scar tissue from when I was first learning how to
Oh.
ride a bike.
And
But I
then
was 4.
but did that make you not want to get back on a bike?
No, of course I got on a bike. I got on a bike.
Well,
I
who
fallen from
knows?
a bike a few times.
Maybe she just didn't want to.
True. That's fair. That's
Maybe
fine too. But
she's just like bike or pool. Like that girl obviously loves the pool, and I can't blame her. Like I'd probably want to be in the pool more than a bike anyway.
We didn't have a pool at that house. But definitely at that time, biking in the neighborhood, I used to like after that, like go and tell my mom, like, oh my God, I just made 5 new friends. Oh, I made 4 new friends. Like I'd literally go outside
Yeah.
until like you heard my mom calling me to come back in. So
Yeah.
it's definitely different lifestyles. And so they don't need a bike. I needed a bike to get around, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
it was my method of transportation. I wasn't walking.
Yeah.
I need my bike. So it's definitely different lifestyles for sure as kids, which is hilarious. Yeah, exactly. She's almost a teenager. Why? Yes, exactly. Training wheels. I was just shocked, but I think it's because they don't need to ride bikes like we did when we were younger. Some kids need parents like your dad to let them go and fail sometimes. I'm guessing her parents are not involved enough to teach her to ride a bike without training wheels. Yeah, I don't think I mean, I had training wheels obviously for when my dad wasn't around, but he definitely taught me. Like I specifically remember that particular moment where he was showing me how to ride without training wheels, and I was 4. I was not in school. Hilarious. Okay, so back to this episode. Okay, so this was when we had the Jen Bill conversation, and Bill does say I have different way of showing emotion. I really think that Bill needs to talk to somebody, because when anybody is so composed all the time, that means that they have a lot bumbling underneath the surface. And I could see rage maybe coming out sometime, or like, I don't think he would actually ever cry, but like that's something I think he needs to do. I think he needs a good cry. I really think that he needs to talk to somebody, and he keeps too much in. I don't think it's good for him.
I mean, I think he's a bit checked out, to be honest.
Well, I think he's checked out because he doesn't want to feel.
Yeah,
He doesn't want
exactly.
to
He doesn't want to
invest in.
address the feelings. Yeah.
Which it's not going to bode well for a relationship of this caliber on this show with these women prodding and prying. They're not going to be able to hide their secrets and keep everything quiet for so long. So I worry for them. I don't think that they're going to last. So Dolores and the kids are worried about her mom, which is really understandable. She's going to be having surgery. And they're talking about, I thought that this was interesting that Dolores's daughter was like, well, you're worried about anesthesia, but you put yourself under anesthesia many times without letting us know. And like you see her giving her daughter the finger. I thought it was like a fun family dynamic. And I appreciate that family. I do. I was also shocked still, though, that David is not considering being there emotionally for Dolores. I'm happy that he's taking care of the mom, taking her to appointments and stuff like that, and still is interacting with the kids. I get it. But if you love the mom so much, like, wouldn't you be just a little bit want to check in on Dolores, someone that you spent many years of your life with?
I mean, they broke up. She broke up with him. So either you're together or you're not. And I think that he's actually doing more than he should be doing, to be honest. Is he a doctor? No. Like, is that why he's so involved? Like, why is he going to all of the appointments? And like, didn't the daughter say he reviewed her labs or something, the mother's labs? Or somebody reviewed the labs? Like, does David have some kind of medical insight? I don't know.
I'm not sure. See, that's like I don't know her relationship with David. Chat, do you guys know, is David a doctor or some sort of medical professional or works in a hospital? So I thought it was a cute little moment. Is just slipped in with Jen getting her makeup done by her youngest daughter. I thought it was cute. I mean, I think that Jen is a caring person that's a little bit nosy and nosy with the wrong people. This is not the right group of people to be nosy around. I remember I got in so much trouble once in high school because I heard a rumor and I said the rumor to somebody and the rumor got back to the person that it was about. And like, it became like they called me out in the front of the high school and she wanted to fight with me. And I'm standing there with like my pregnant best friend in high school. And I'm just like, I'm not going to fight you. Sorry, I heard the rumor. Is it true? and she was just like try to get me like super aggro. And like, I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it, but that's what I heard. Do you want to clear it up? Is it true? Is it not true? And she never did. She just walked away and was calling me names. And like, she was mad at me for a while, but I'm like, I've done it.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before. It's like, if you hear something about your friend or a woman you know, are you going to tell her or are you going to find out more information?
Yeah, I'd find out more information. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't know if we talked about it, but I can find information.
Yeah.
It's actually, it's kind of fun now sometimes where you can just like go deep into like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and like find out a lot. So it's just kind of the world that we're in, where we have a lot of access to people and we can kind of worm our way in to find out more information that some people may not want to share, or like we want to find out to help somebody else. So I think it's also a sign of the times that we're in, that we're capable of doing a little bit of a deep dive. So Margaret and Lexi. So Lexi is her creative assistant. I don't even know what that means. They talk about wanting to have a spa day for Dolores just to make her feel better about her mom and just to take care of her in that moment. So Margaret calls Dolores to say that she wants to do this, but they're not going to invite Jen. And they just don't want to have the drama of it. I was like, okay, like, that's going to be drama to not invite somebody to an event. Jen probably wouldn't have wanted to come, but like, it might have been just like nicer for you to like say like, hey, we're doing this, but like, we don't want to have any drama. Like, I don't know. How do you think she should have dealt with this situation? It's just, I think it's annoying that she's not inviting Jen. and not letting Jen know. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know, and I don't care.
Okay, you don't care. You don't care
I
about.
mean,
I was a little bit more interested though in like the dog's tuna breath. I was like, are they gonna brush the dog's teeth? Like that's literally what I was thinking, as
yeah,
opposed
I
to like
mean,
this phone call.
yeah, I mean, I think that she's obviously planned this as a way to, I mean, they ended up talking about Jen anyway. So there was maybe an intention for everybody to talk about Jen without Jen being there. And I feel like Jen, just based on, she didn't go to the pink party. I think maybe Jen, if I was Jen, I would have felt relieved, to be honest.
I wouldn't want to go. No.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like maybe they're just going to do the rest of the season with
Just
Jen
excluding
on
her.
her own or just with Dolores and Teresa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
We see Teresa talking with her daughter about how it's a 1-year anniversary that's coming up and trying to figure out what to wear in the washroom. I did find it strange that Gio was eating a sandwich in the washroom. For whatever reason, like I just feel like food is not supposed to go into a bathroom area. I just, it's just something that has always been like a no
Yeah.
go for me.
Okay, but is that like I imagine they have a house where the actual toilet is different to the bathtub shower situation. Are those
It
two
might have been.
different things? Or is it just the whole thing?
Do you know what? Maybe if the actual toilet is in like a little adjacent room,
Yeah.
maybe it's a little bit more like a change room vibes.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe it's a dressing room rather than an actual, but I'm with you. Like food should not be in there. I agree. It's unsanitary.
I just like, but like, and I guess I was also picturing, and it might not have been there, but like the toilet being right beside the bathtub, and it might not have been. You might be very correct. There
I
could have been like an actual water closet
Yeah.
where it's like
I feel
separate.
like I've been in washrooms like that, and they're bigger than my current bedroom, and the toilet is separate. Yeah.
Okay, I'll give this a slight pass. JL's with agreeing with us though with food in the bathroom. Just as
Yeah.
like, and like, and she was sitting on like a toilet level too. And I was just as like, I don't know about this, but you were right. There could have been a separate water closet. And yeah, there's probably maybe a water closet right by the shower, which is probably like around the corner, which would make sense too.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. But they do talk about Louis, and to talk about how she prayed to her parents who have passed to give her somebody like a partner or a man, and then she met Louis quite close after. Now, this is something that actually, now that we're talking about Louis potentially being the red flag that everybody else is seeing of him, it's reminding me of a story from my particular life where my mom went to a psychic, and a psychic ends up telling her like, be wary of somebody that wants to sleep on your couch or something like that. Like that was like the wording that she used. And this friend of hers, no, not in a relationship whatsoever, he was somebody that was fitting blinds for our house, and for whatever reason he needed to sleep on the couch. So she thought that this person that was asking to stay over was the bad person that she needed to be wary of, which allowed her to close her eyes to this next person that came into her life in a partner situation, who actually ended up being a really shitty partner for her, like completely ruined all of our lives. And like it was a really traumatic time in my life, her life, our life, that she allowed in. And that was the person metaphorically sleeping on the couch, but she mistaken it, these signs for the other person, so that she
Literally,
wasn't
yeah.
able to see the person that actually was the red flag. So I'm wondering if the fact that she prayed and she feels like this was a sign from her parents, that she's also ignoring the red flags because she feels like timing wise it was perfect. So I'm starting to really buy into Louis being a red flag, and I'm getting a little bit worried for her. Yikes!
I mean, yeah.
Yikes! Yikes!
We'll see I guess we'll see it unfold in
It
real
might not be.
life.
It might be years from now, though.
It's true.
So, Melissa talking to her daughter about having a sweet 16, and her mom is real, or her daughter's really upset. She'd torn her ACL, and then also Melissa moves her the school year. What teenager is ever going to be excited about moving in the
Yeah,
school year? Is especially if like in recovery, so not even being able to do all of her regular activities. Like that is a big
that's
no,
true.
no.
Yeah, that's
Like
true.
that's not great, and I totally got why her daughter was, like, not happy about Melissa and, like, not caring. Like, what am I gonna have a sweet 16 for? I don't know any of these people, like, they're not my
Yeah,
friends.
exactly. Yeah.
Um, and then, like, what, to, like, try to keep connected with the people from my old school? Like, I'd be pissed if I was her daughter, and she
And
doesn't wanna
maybe
cheer anymore. Go ahead.
yeah, maybe she's not like a girly girl like Melissa. I haven't seen her on camera much, so I don't really know, but maybe she's not like a girly girl like Melissa, and maybe she doesn't want that kind of attention.
Well, I think that she was a really good cheerer, and when she hurt her ACL and then she's leaving school and she's probably gaining weight, like, I think she's probably depressed and not knowing what she wants to do and not wanting to put in the work that she needs to if she wants to get back into her cheer life. I think she's depressed.
Yeah, that's real too. Yeah.
And Melissa, I don't think is recognizing the type of support that she actually needs right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Because
Melissa
this
Melissa admitted that she's probably depressed, but she also is like, you have to go back to cheer. She has to go back to cheer, which is not the
I mean,
way.
to be honest though, I wish that like when I decided to quit ballet, that my mom would force me to go back to ballet because like that's probably one of the biggest regrets that I have in my life.
Yeah,
And
but
so
would you have applied yourself? Like, would you, because, my mom forced me to go back to piano and I didn't apply myself. And now I'm like, oh, I wish I had appreciated it back then, but I don't think my mother forcing me to do it was the way, you know?
I know. I mean, I wish that there was something that could have been said. Obviously, like when you're at that age, like I was a little bit older when I quit ballet, but like I was depressed and I was being defiant and I was just being like, I can do what I want to do and I'm making my own decisions. I don't want to be disciplined anymore. I was just like definitely lashing out and rebelling. I don't know how it could have been done because like even like my dance teacher like was reaching out to me, all like my dance friends, like if they saw me out, they'd be like, Danita really wants to see you, like come back. And like I was just being super defiant. So I don't know what could have been done, but I do wish
Yeah,
that something could have happened to prevent me from making that decision. And I think that
right.
maybe Melissa is trying to save her daughter from that similar experience.
Sure. Yeah.
I agree, JL. Melissa did her daughter dirty with the move. I can't imagine the depression and disruption it causes a teenager to lose all the friends and social circles they've been building. They have to restart. Absolutely. And like be like, she's probably not in physically where she used to be. She like, at least she was a cheerleader before. And so she had like that kind of esteem and notoriety. So she doesn't have that anymore. Like, it's not good timing.
Yeah,
Agree, Rachna. There's
exactly.
no easy solution, but forcing them will never work. I was very headstrong. Absolutely. I was very headstrong. Moving wasn't it, though. If you want your daughter to go back to cheering, moving is not it.
Yeah, I
Not at
agree.
that time.
Agreed.
Like she should have. I don't know how the distance is, but if she's trying to get her son in a new school, like I would think if I was her daughter, I'd be like, oh, you care more about your son and like what school he's going to
Yeah.
than like me and my livelihood. Like you definitely are showing preference here, and so I
Yeah.
would be even also pissed off about that.
Yeah, exactly.
So at Teresa's fancy dinner, they're at the pier and there's a rose petal and there's a sax player. I'm like, could you handle all this cheese?
No, absolutely not.
It was so cheesy. I mean, unless it was cheesy on purpose and that was the joke, like I wouldn't
No,
be able
I
to
don't
take it
no, no,
seriously.
no. I think Teresa loves that shit.
It's so cringe. It's
I
so so
agree.
so
I
so
agree, but
cringe.
so is a lot about Teresa. She is
So
in on
cringe.
it. She loves it.
Yes, that teenage age is so rough, even with friends. So I can't imagine the struggle without them.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So
exactly.
unfair. So unfair. So we do have another hospitality moment. We have one
Oh, yeah.
hero. He's the chef that kind of comes in. Where's my little thing? Um, and he is serving up for the first course, anyways, pan-seared scallops with lobster sauce. I was like, delicious.
That
Into
sounds
that.
amazing. Yeah.
And then he just leaves the bottle of champagne on the table. You can drink this first. And I was like, nobody's gonna open this up.
I mean,
Like, I
he's a
guess
chef.
people.
He's not a server. He's a chef.
Yeah, it's true. But shouldn't there be like also one server that's going to be taking things out? Or I guess it's just like a chef's table and you pour your own drinks.
I mean, maybe Louis doesn't have that money. Maybe he's like,
Maybe.
I'll just take the chef.
Okay. And the sax player.
And the sax player, exactly.
And the scroll. What do you think of the scroll, Rachna? The scroll. And like literally going through every point on the scroll. I love you because I love your voice. I want to spend my life with you. But then he doesn't even propose. How did I was so uncomfortable. I did fast forward through most of it. I was fast forward and I listened a bit, and then I fast forward, and then I listened a bit because it was too cringe for me.
I mean, look, it's good television because it's so cringe.
It's so cringe. True.
And also, Teresa is all about that shit. So
I'm not about that life.
Good for her. I mean, not good for her that she's missing the red flags, but
that alone, like someone wasn't doing it as a joke and laughing as they're going through it, like I'd be like, this isn't gonna work, babe.
But people do that in real life for real all the time. I think no, I mean, is it more cringe than like Gia and her boyfriend doing a helicopter ride through New York City? Like,
that's cute.
Really.
I think that's cuter.
No, I think
like is he? I mean, I guess I'm not romantic in that way, but like I would love it if it was a joke, right? If it was just like
but a lot of people love it for it. Like, I'm with you. I'm not about that shit either. Like those grand gestures, I'm like, okay, what are you hiding? Like, what are you compensating for? But I mean, I think these women are here for the grand gestures. Like, that's what, they live for that. Like, gifts are their love language. So,
well, my love languages are actually, it's acts of service and gifts, receiving gifts. So,
okay, but not gifts in the form of a yacht ride.
I'll take a yacht ride, but I don't want, and I'll take the dinner, but I don't want the sax player unless it's a joke, and I don't want the scroll unless it's a joke.
So did you fast forward through the part where Teresa talks about having learned how to play the sax when she was in elementary school?
I heard that part, yes. I thought that, okay. I guess that's cute. I don't know.
It's not it's not so random.
I just think Kenny G, get out.
You know what? I actually kind of love that. I love Kenny G.
But it's so cheesy.
Like, it's cheesy and it's funny, and I wouldn't hate it so much. I would hate the fact that guy's wearing that tacky as fuck blazer. Like, that would bother me. And it's on camera, and there's other people watching. Like, that would bother me. But I think Teresa loved it, and I think that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. You're right. I was once serenaded by a person that I wasn't dating, and I think maybe that really just like that secondhand embarrassment.
Scarred you?
Like, yeah. It was just so mortifying. Just like having someone like down on a knee. I was stuck in coat check, and he was singing to me, and people were coming down the stairs, and they were coming to check their coat, and they think that this is like my boyfriend, and like they clapped after, and I wasn't even dating him. I didn't like him. I wasn't into him, and it was just mortifying. And I was like 19. It was just like I just can't take it. I can't take it. I can't.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely things that I've experienced or seen in the past where I'm like, that is disgusting. But then I think
You're right,
about,
though.
like,
Teresa,
if
he did
my
this for Teresa, and it's what
if
she would
my
like.
current partner did something like that for me, I wouldn't hate it as much. Probably because
You love that. Love
it
them.
would, yeah, I love them, and it would be cute and also kind of funny because neither of us are over the top grand gesture people, and it would be hilarious.
Hilarious, right? Like that has to come into play for me. It has to be. I have to be in on the joke, and they have to be in
Yeah.
on the joke.
Yeah,
For
like
me to be able to
if
appreciate that.
anyone was to get down on one knee, I would immediately be like, no, because that is not how you propose to me. Like that immediately tells me you're the wrong
That
person.
verse, unless they're doing it laughing, be like, maybe they can make it work, but it would be a bit of a red flag, being like, ooh, you know that I'm not gonna like this.
Yeah, like I feel like if you're doing something as serious as proposing, then you need to do it in a way that's not a joke, you know?
Mm,
So like not on one knee.
yes. Yeah. If I'm ever proposed to, I don't think it would be a one knee thing too, but it'd have to be a grand gesture, but it'd have to be very right. They'd have to like get it
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just blow through the rest of this episode. So Margaret arrives at the spa. Everybody shows up. They bring up Bill again. They bring up Jennifer again. They're all changed into their robes. Some people are getting some treatments. I really would love to have a massage right now, though I haven't done any of that in over 2 years. And like, I would love to have a full body scrub down and a full body massage. That would be a treat right now. I remember a few years ago, I went with one of my best friends, Karen, and the same girl that lived in Dubai. And both of our parents, our moms, bought us spa days, and so we totally had like
Nice.
champagne and spa, and like it was just like a whole day, and like it was amazing. And I think I need that in my life again. So that is on the roster when things actually fully open up. Dolores shows up, talks about David being at every appointment and Tracy talking about David? Really? Melissa, Margaret, and Tracy talking about David? Why is Tracy talking about David? Sorry, Tracy's annoying.
Wait,
And
Tracy
talking
was
about
talking
her
about
daughter. Maybe
Tracy was talking about David?
I
Like
wrote Melissa, Margaret,
Dolores'
and
David?
Tracy talking about David.
Like
Maybe about the fact that he's at going to his appointments. I don't remember now. Maybe
yeah,
I
I
wrote the
mean,
wrong
I'm
name.
with Teresa on this one. Like, what the fuck is Tracy doing? Like, she needs to stay out of her business.
Yes. And maybe it was Louis and I wrote down David. Yeah, I wrote down Tracy has a lot to say.
Yeah.
Always. Melissa talking about her daughter, which is like, I think she's started to come to understand that she may have done some damage here with moving her, and like she moved a lot when she was younger, and her father just had passed away, and they had moved to a new city where she had to make new friends, and she had a Jersey accent, so she definitely understands what it's like at that age to be and feel like an outcast. And so the fact that she didn't recognize this before she moved her daughter is surprising. So at least she's having a little bit of a realization there. I can give her that.
Yeah.
So Teresa is annoyed by Tracy. Of course, more talk about Jennifer happens. To Dolores though, and right, like me and you want everybody to make peace. It's enough. Like it's enough. Like we realize, yes, she did the wrong thing. Yes, it was handled the wrong way. But like, what more do you want? What do you want? Do you want Jennifer to kill herself? Like what do you want for it to be enough for you to realize that you hurt her enough, or she's like, what's the amount of revenge? What's enough for them? What do you think, Rachna? Sorry, I didn't mean to say kill herself. Sorry, take that. Scratch that.
Honestly, I just want it to be over. I don't care what revenge Margaret or Jennifer needs. I just want to stop hearing about it.
Me too. And same with Dolores.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'm on Dolores' side here. I forgot exactly what she said, but
make peace and move on is what she said.
Exactly. And I think, yeah, she said they both did something wrong and Jennifer's really hurting. And, you know, what were the ramifications of for Margaret? Nothing really. Like, they had a spat. Jennifer was aggressive, whatever. But Jennifer's life is literally falling apart because Margaret exposed the secret. And so leave it alone.
Is
Like,
that
you
enough
just
for you? Like, what does she need
exactly.
to how hurt does she need to be for you to think that she's been punished enough? It's like I feel like Margaret is like training a dog, like a puppy, where like you
Yeah.
rub the nose in the mess so that they understand that like bad dog. Like, okay, you've rubbed Jennifer's nose, hopefully doesn't break it again, into this mess. Like, is that enough? Like, what do you need more from her in order just to let it go? Like,
Yeah, but also, like, I think Margaret really needs to reflect on why she chose to go down this, route in the first place. Like, was she just
she
trying to
just wants
get
to be right.
revenge?
To be
Sorry?
right. To be
To be
right.
right about what, though? That Jennifer is a bad person? Like, to be right about
Yeah.
what? What does she get at?
Yeah.
Like,
To get somebody to she
to
must then
literally,
if
like, does it make
uh
her feel better that she blew somebody's life apart? Do you know what I mean?
yeah, I think it does a little bit. I think it actually gives her something to focus on for the fact that, she was a mistress in a relationship. And so maybe she needs to have a little bit of self-reflection as to why she allowed herself to be in that position, what she was going through to not be the number one in that relationship, to be okay with being somebody's secret. You know what I mean? Like there must be a lot of things that come with realizing that you were the mistress or the other woman. And so maybe she would rather be pointing the finger instead of looking in on herself and like who she is as a person to be in that kind of position. Because I've
Yeah.
definitely like I've been in similar situations unintentionally, but like I definitely when I look at it, like I feel really badly about myself for being that person in that situation. You know what I mean? So maybe she's just like wants something else to focus on so she doesn't have to look inward.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I thought it was interesting to see Jennifer's brother. He's a gay man, and they're kind of having a discussion about
Yeah,
like
I
their
like this.
mom, and I definitely like seeing just normal people having a normal conversation. So it was a nice little breather from the rest of the women. You enjoyed it
Yeah,
as well?
I did. Yeah, I liked meeting her brother, and I thought it was cute that he was gay, obviously.
Yes, me too. So Jennifer does say though that she told her mom or their mom about what Margaret did, and so the mom is really, really mad at Margaret. Nobody's giving any blame for Bill, which I think is interesting. That I think about the story is very interesting. How cultures deal with infidelity, and I think that is a social study is fascinating. But I don't want to like her children are going to be hurt. Like I know that her oldest daughter was very mature about it, but she's still going to be hurt.
Oh yeah.
And it's probably going to affect all of her relationships for the rest of her life. Just saying, it
I mean,
happens.
unless she gets some good therapy or she just has a really level head.
Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed. Um, so Jennifer though does mention that she's dealing with this stuff now, and she wishes that she had dealt with it then, and that's what's really scary about what position Jennifer's in is like bringing all the stuff that's been pushed down for 10 years. It started to come out. People keep on asking her how she's feeling, how she's feeling about how Bill is reacting. Now she's noticing that Bill doesn't protect her, doesn't stand up for her. And like everything is coming to the surface. And Bill is afraid of opening Pandora's box. And I understand that because I think this house of cards might come tumbling down, especially since Jen is now questioning her marriage, and we see in the previews that that feeling about their marriage is not going away. It's not resolving itself.
Yeah, and it's not going to. Like, things like that don't resolve themselves. Like,
Yeah.
you need.
So will Margaret be happy when they break up? Or like feel satisfied or feeling her justice is she got justice?
No, I don't. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't think there is an end to what Margaret has started. Like, she she said it in public. She feels horrible, but
Does she
does
though?
that? Exactly, yeah.
Anyways, that was the episode. Do you have anything else you want to say about this one? We talked longer than I really thought we were going to talk about
And
it.
we talked mostly about not this show, this episode.
That's true.
Have you seen the preview for the rest of the season? Is there
Yeah,
anything
it
on
looks
there that you're
good.
like, yeah,
But it was all just like clips. Like, I don't know. There was like, I feel like there was a fire hose in the middle of a street. I think I saw a little snippet of, and like, I
yeah,
feel like there might be another fight. It just looks like stuff is going to happen, but I'm wondering if it's
yeah.
about the same stuff,
But
right?
it doesn't seem like that intriguing to me.
It looks more interesting than what we've seen so far, but it's all packaged together in a fantastical way. And so, we'll see. We're still here. Well, we're still here for you guys. We're still going to
Yeah,
review
we're
it.
still here. Yeah.
Hopefully next week I will be a little bit more positive about the episode. Maybe they need a new character to come in. Maybe I want someone of color to come in. That might be give it a dynamic that I might find a little bit more entertaining.
Do you really want a person of color to be in on that mix? Do you think that would be like horrifying to watch, or maybe if it was two people of color?
Maybe two people of color. I mean, does Tiki have any friends? Like, he's the only black person on this franchise. Yeah, maybe like, I don't know. I need something, but we'll see. Maybe next week will be better. We'll be like about halfway through the season, maybe more. Fingers
Yeah,
crossed. Do you have anything going
yeah.
on that you want to share with the people?
Not this week, no.
Not this week. Well, I
Although
have the usual.
we are watching the Salt Lake City reunion, all 3 episodes on Monday. Maybe we should do an Instagram live or like a live tweet or something of that.
What I'm thinking is maybe we just do like take little videos of like responses to certain things and like
Yeah,
upload them as stories or put them all together as like one video feed of like just different little clips of us having reactions.
I think that's a great idea. I'd be down for that.
So if we can figure it out, we might post some reactions and stories and maybe videos to the Salt Lake City, all 3 parts of the reunion. So look out for that potentially coming from both of us. And you guys know the drill, but just subscribe to Reality Realness. Let us know what franchise you want us to talk to after this one. We will see this one through. I am a completionist. I want to have the box set. So we will definitely be talking about this franchise, this series all the way till the end. But what do you want us to talk about next? Do you want us to do a combined version of Beverly Hills and Atlanta? Maybe a comparison between the two? I don't know. We could maybe figure out something to incorporate both of them at the same time, or would you like to have separate or both? Let us know what you would like, and we'll see if we can accommodate everybody in the near future. So please subscribe. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the next franchise we should review. Like this video if you're watching it in the replay. And last words, Rachna, or is it goodbye?
Have a good week. See you next week.
Bye. Ciao.